All right, happy Tuesday night, everybody. Welcome on into the daily broadcast. We got a lot of stuff going on. Tech basketball at BYU later on tonight. A must-win game for the Red Raiders. CNBC saying Texas Tech is the most valuable franchise in the Big 12. Do you believe it? What does it mean? What does it matter on the field? We'll talk about that. Get your thoughts there. Cold weather. It's not on the way. It's here in West Texas. What are you eating? The Tuesday's best today on the website, theraiderland.com. The best fast food combo with cold weather. We had that going on. And then whatever else is on your mind this evening, from the NFL to you name it. It's up to you guys. We'll have a great conversation. You guys know what to do. The early arrivals, let us know the audio is good. The video is good. Give us thumbs up, hearts. If you're watching on YouTube, we thank you for watching on YouTube. Our channel is always free. Everybody should subscribe. If you're watching on Twitter at Ryan Hyatt Media, give us thumbs up. Let us know. And indeed, if you're watching on Facebook Live, we got a ton of people on Facebook. We'd love to hear from everybody. Thanks to United Supermarkets at Market Street. All the communication, you get in. All you got to do is jump in the little chat box, whatever you want to call it, and we're off and rolling. It's that easy. And indeed, as Jeff says, greetings from a snowpacked Midwest. The talking box is on. That's old school right there. The talking box is indeed on. So let's make it happen tonight in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans. All you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com. You start your day there. Hot links, fresh. The best links from around Raiderland and beyond every morning. Questions of the day, our thoughts. You go check it out at theraiderland.com. We archive everything we do right there. It's really simple. Brought to you tonight by Gators Bayou 98th and Slide in Lubbock. Go check them out during cold weather. They got hot Cajun food. They got cold drinks. I mean, even the patio is so secluded. If there's no wind and you're pretty tough, I mean, you could have been sitting out there today. They got all the games on all the TVs. I would try the Cajun pasta if you've never been. Can't go wrong with gumbo or anything like that. Or any of the shrimp po' boys. Fried shrimp po' boy is great too. But the Cajun pasta, get it mild the first time you go. Also by Sideline Provisions, owned and operated by great Red Raiders. The original Guns Up logo that you see a lot around Texas Tech now. Those guys got it going. You can find it at Q4. That's the old Cardinal Sports Center there, South Loop 289 and Slide Road, just outside the loop. It's now Q4 for those who are outside. And you can go on their website, go into Raider Apparel or whatever. You can find it. You can order it outside the market. Great Red Raiders doing great apparel. Look as good as your team or maybe even better thanks to Sideline Provisions. Check them out. Good stuff. All right, so all that tonight, we want to hear from you. Men's basketball at BYU. This is a must win, and I say that because right now your Hoops HD number is 69. Somebody say it. Nice. BYU 68. Tech doesn't have a quad 2 or a quad 1 win right now. Your resume is outside the NCAA tournament. It's January. It's Big 12. It's time for urgency. Now, does this win? If you beat BYU tonight, does that mean, oh, yeah, you're back right on the bubble? No, probably not. Dave Ahman, I believe, on his bracket at bracketville.wordpress.com, we pay attention to two people, Chad Sherwood, hoopshd.com, and his crew, and Dave Ahman at bracketville.wordpress.com. They're the best at putting together in real time the bracket as we go through. Nobody does it better. Pay no attention to the fraud that is Joe Lunardi at ESPN. If you see somebody on Twitter linked to Joe Lunardi, if you see anybody putting that out there, pay no attention to it. Also, ignore the Ken Palm and the net rankings. They do not translate to who is in the NCAA tournament. And what do we care about? We care about being in the NCAA tournament, right? What's the seed? Well, right now, you're barely talking to the bubble. I believe it was Dave today at WordPress, bracketville.wordpress.com, that had Tech on not the first 4 out, but the next 4 out. That ain't good. Tonight, you don't make up a lot of ground. The best thing you get out of tonight, if you win, is a road win in the Big 12. Is it against a good team? No. Okay, it's against a good team. Is it against a very good team? No. If you lose, it shoves you farther and farther down. And that's why I'm saying today that Texas Tech needs to have the urgency of a team in February now in January. That your non-conference schedule was bad, you didn't get good wins, and here you are. And the UCF loss isn't helping you out right now. Alan is on YouTube. We got 2 YouTubes right off the bat. There's no eggs. there's no eggs in TP at the Colleyville Market Street. They did have spicy mustard. If you got spicy mustard, you can live for days. You might have to ration it out. And we were talking today, we got the cold weather coming in. I think West Texas may miss the big snow event. You guys in the Metroplex, hunker down. It was hand-to-hand combat, though, today at the Market Streets here in Lubbock at United. I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now, the old woman, she didn't want the potted meat or the toilet paper near enough as I did today. And if you thought you were going to make taco soup today and you were going to buy the ingredients at the grocery store, forget about that. You were getting peanut butter, you were getting pickled stuff. That's all you were getting. It's just, we do it different out here. I mean, the mere threat of cold weather. So what are you guys having tonight? My wife did make the taco soup tonight. Bless her heart, she's under the weather. Not feeling good at all. But we had laid it in yesterday as far as the ingredients, so it was all good, right? So she's already made that tonight, and she's already enjoying that as we go through. On Facebook, good to see our Facebook people weighing in tonight. You guys can get in thanks to United Supermarkets and Market Street, where it is hand-to-hand combat. The talking box is on, says Craig. Yep, it is. Jacob is jumping in off Twitter tonight. Need to stack some wins. BYU, yes, a must. And Iowa State can make 3 in a row. 3 in a row stacked wins. 3 in a wow stacked wins. And I hadn't even got to Iowa State yet on some of the metrics on that. But you got to win games. You need to have some urgency right now. Thumbs up from James. All right. So one of the things we slugged, we want to talk about basketball tonight. Get your comments in. We'll go tonight as long as you guys are interesting, fun, and having good comments. Tell us what you're cooking. Are you in the impact zone of this weather? We've got a lot of people that watch in the Metroplex, in Dallas, Fort Worth, in that area, Central Texas, that aren't used to this. How is it going? How are you handling it? I want to hear from you tonight. But one of the things we did slug tonight is the CNBC story that Texas Tech posted yesterday, and it has Texas Tech. They ranked the top 75 most valuable programs in college sports. Texas Tech, #1 in the Big 12. I didn't write it down. So whatever, 20, 25, 26 overall. The information, I'm looking at the CNBC deal, used to compile the valuations comes from courtesy of Jason Belzer, publisher of Athletic Director U, who has advised universities on name, image, and likeness deals and is now doing the same for athletic departments seeking private equity. That's another big story in 2025. Buckle up for the private equity stuff. Athletic Director U has an expansive database of college athletic program financials and information. The revenue figures are from the Department of Education. Can we get rid of that? Hey, Trump, can we get rid of the DOE? Jimmy Carter, God rest his soul, lying in state, United States Capitol, started it. It's not like it's been around for 200 years. Get rid of the Department of Education today, defund it. Meanwhile, back at the story, the Department of Education's Equity and Athletics Data Analysis and the Knight Commission on Intercollegiate Athletics for the fiscal year 2023. That's all you know right there. It took me that long to read that. That's why you got to get rid of this crap. The list is reflective of the current enterprise value of each program, starting with a base revenue multiple of 4 for all institutions, and then adjusting the multiple for variables, including conference affiliation, estimated NIL spending, school subsidies, number of alumni, and other factors that can catalyze future revenue growth and profitability. Who the hell wrote that sentence? It took 8 employees to write that sentence. CNBC and Belzer also incorporated the expertise of several people knowledgeable about athletic program valuations to determine the rankings, who requested anonymity in order to discuss details of the programs. So I want to double check and give you the right number. Tech is number one in the Big 12. They are nationally 33. That shouldn't be shocking that the top valuated program in the Big 12 is 33 because we got to go through the Big 10 and the SEC, don't we? And as you look through it, there's just a handful of schools that aren't in those two conferences that show up. Who's number one? The Ohio State University. $1.32 billion of valuation, 280 in revenue. Revenue really doesn't matter. Valuation is what we care about. UT Austin, number two. A&M, number three. Boy, are they not the least performing schools? I don't know. UT's in the Final Four. It doesn't really matter. But I mean, overall, for what they've got, Michigan at 4, Alabama 5, Notre Dame 6, Georgia 7, Nebraska. My God, if you're a Nebraska fan and you see this, just going, what? We are not getting any bang for our buck. Oklahoma 10th, same thing. Tennessee 9, USC 12, and then LSU 13. We go University of Florida 14, 15, Wisconsin 16, Clemson, University of Oregon 17. You would have thought Oregon would be higher, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Nike money, everything else. Hi, welcome to the Pac-10 over the last few years and living on the West Coast. Arkansas at 18. Hi, welcome to living in the SEC versus living in the Pac-10. Kentucky at 19, basketball. Auburn 20. We live near Alabama. Iowa 21. We're in the Big 10. Michigan State University, same thing, Big 10. Stanford 23. We really care about tennis and volleyball more than we care about anything else. Free Shoes University 24. Illinois 25. Duke 26. Hi there, basketball. Hi there, ACC. Washington 27. Indiana still living off basketball in Bloomington in the Big 10 football money. Mississippi 29. That's what galls me, is that Ole Miss, just by virtue of being in the SEC, is ahead of Tech. South Carolina 30. Miami University of 31. Minnesota 32. Then Tech 33. Who are you ahead of? Louisville, Missouri, Purdue, Kansas. Oh, you're worth more than Kansas. But they have 18 national championships in basketball. Vanderbilt, cute, baseball. TCU, hi there, 39. 40, UNC Chapel Hill. I thought you had 42 championships in basketball. Michael Jordan, 40. So what drives the bus? You tell me. I know I've been gobbling up some of the time there. What does that mean? You tell me what that means going forward, that Texas Tech is ranked that high. You tell me what that will translate onto the field. And we have the shift in the salary cap quote of the school, what they can pay at $20 million. And Texas Tech's been very open that they're going to allocate the vast majority of football and men's basketball. But none of that changes what you can do outside of that on NIL money for the other teams, right? So what do you think all of that means? Does that mean going forward that Texas Tech should be expected to do more in the Big 12? Football, basketball, or otherwise? Or is it just a number? Get your comments. Thanks to United Supermarkets and Market Street. Tech BYU, what do you think is going to happen tonight? Your thoughts on basketball, where it is right now. Cold weather food. What are you eating tonight? What do you got laid in? We were talking today on the website, theraiderland.com. Fast food, cold weather combos. Alan, Tech is so rich they don't need potted meats. Oh no, they got squirrel and gopher and everything else. It's all good. Where the hell are my Twitter people? Now we had 200 or so last night on Twitter, but the comments, I'm like, where are my comments on Twitter? It's kind of frustrating to me because usually Twitter is right there. And I know we've already had one person comment on Twitter. What's up with the Twitter? But you guys know you can comment on this thing, right? Should be working. That's why we're on 3 different platforms, though. Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and our YouTube channel. Subscribe to all 3. They're all free. And if you feel like you're not getting your money's worth on one, go to the other. I don't care where you watch. I just want you to watch. I want you to share and invite people in, grow the channel. Scott's on Facebook, out of the box on 50th, reporting in out at the box. Sorry. And that's not the box, that's the new box. Reporting 53-13 Monterey up on Coronado girls at that. That is fake news. Fake news. Not true. Coronado is not going to lose to Monterey. I don't believe you. It's the new box, too, by the way. Will Tech pass the $1 billion mark? All right, where are they right now? So Tech valuation, according to this, sitting at number 33 is $619 million, $147 million in revenue. Yeah, why not? I mean, how many teams ahead of you got to go to get to $1 billion? What's the billion mark? The first billion mark right now is Michigan. But you got a bunch of 9s in there. I mean, are we saying eventually? Are we saying ever? Yeah, ever. It's only going to go up. It's not going to go down. Now, how long it takes, I don't know. I think what's going to happen, though, is, yeah, you will pass the billion mark, but other schools will keep going up when we coalesce college football into its own thing here in the next 5 or 6 years, and we grow that. And then it doesn't really matter what your athletic department is making. It's what does your football team make? So we're gonna rethink 5 or 6 years from now what these numbers even mean. Jeff, it means there needs to start some championships in the trophy case. Well, in football, in men's basketball, we've had men's basketball over the last, decade, half decade, certainly baseball and everything. I guess what you're talking about is football, right? That's the conversation we're having here is football. Craig, last week I learned that calling Monterey the Peons is now considered offensive. Man, I'm old. As an old Coronado Mustang, I will do my best to refrain from commenting on that. What do you mean? It wasn't offensive in the 70s and 80s? I thought that was the whole reason we called them that, right? Is that not it? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back David Collier, KMAC 28 sports director, after a long holiday break, a hiatus, one might say, from social media, posting, creative content, and everything else, and knowing how to pronounce Naismith. He is back, and I'm glad to know that you are committed to this episode. Every day I wake up and I'll go on social media and I feel like I need to say I'm committed to something, I'm recommitted to something, I've decommitted from something, I am 100% involved in something, or that I'm announcing for something, that I'm like here to announce that I am committing to having a good day. So I'm a Coronado grad too, but that carries little 3-point defense. Yeah, well, get after it. Come on. Bob James ain't walking through that door. Another Coronado Mustang. Alan Corbin weighs in. They're still the Peons. David Collier, not a peon. Peons. I mean, we had to deal with it. They would sing the old gray Mary and what she used to be. Rivalries used to be fun. Now you can't say anything, I guess. Of course, Monterey, and if we've got any Monterey fans out there, and God bless you if you are, they would flip it around and say, well, peons is shortened for champions. Champions is what we were really saying, So that's the way it goes. Alan jumps back in. Where the hell are my Twitter people? Seriously, if you are watching on Twitter tonight and trying to comment and not getting in, post on my Twitter feed at Ryan Hyatt Media. And if it's not coming through, so we use a third party, distribution system called StreamYard, and it works really good. We're seeing everybody the last 2 days. We're not seeing Twitter. I know you're out. I know we see the number of people watching, so I know you're there. So if it's not coming through, hit me up on Twitter at Ryan Hyatt Media, and I'm going to try to figure out what's going on. Alan, all the commitments and recommitments going around, it makes you think a Baptist revival is going on. All we need is a big tent, and everybody runs down to the tent, and they can state who they are committing to and not committing to. Tech BYU basketball tonight. I mentioned it. It's time for urgency. Texas Tech HoopsHD.com number. Gritty Nitty is 69. BYU 68. You're the same team. All right. The only thing you get tonight is not a loss and a road win. Now, we're going to celebrate it if Tech gets a road win because road wins are special in the Big 12. But in the big picture, you're just swimming with the current right now. You're trying to stay even. We liked a lot of things we saw at Utah. One of the biggest things we saw that we liked. Oh, and I'm not leaving the conversation on CNBC saying Tech's the most valuable team in the Big 12 and what that means, what you think that means and what should happen. So jump in, thanks to United Supermarket, get your comments in. One of the biggest things I liked the other night, you did it on the road without JT Toppin. 2 early fouls. He gets a third. He just really didn't play a huge role. Federico, 2. The story of a young man's journey from Minsk to Helsinki. Rochelle. You did it without Toppin. Federico played huge minutes and produced. And then you had 5 others in double digits. Hawkins looked good. You shot the threes good, and you didn't shoot too many. Please don't shoot too many threes tonight. As we learned last night, you're playing at the Marriott Center, not the Marriott Center, the Marriott Center. Who knew? As David Collier pointed out earlier today, BYU shoots the ball really well. You might want to play some defense. Defense got better after the second media time out of the first half. Texas Tech locked down on Utah, and it was a boat race from there. Meanwhile, back at the comments, thanks to United Supermarket, get your comments in, particularly if you're on Twitter. Where the hell are the Twitter people at Ryan Hyatt Media on Twitter? I know you're watching. Where are your comments? Lady Raiders finally made it home this afternoon. For those who don't know, they had been stuck in Manhattan since Saturday, couldn't get out. About 17 inches of snow, ice on the road, couldn't get to an airport. Airport wasn't there. Finally, this morning, I was talking to Mark Finger. Bless his heart. Voice of the Lady Raiders. Like, you hanging in there? And he'd actually been on the road even longer than they had. Mark Finger been on the road for a full, week because of some other travel commitments and everything else. Thankfully, he did some laundry while he was there. I think the entire team was thankful for that. Now, I've been on some brutal road trips, never anything like going and playing on a Saturday and not getting out until Monday. Or now Tuesday. Tuesday. Nothing like that. Had an epic one in New Mexico 1 year around 97, 98, right in through there. That was right before Christmas. That was bad. Had a couple in the early Big 12 days up north, just trying to get back, spend the night, at DFW, riding around on the tram, keeping yourself entertained, trying to get out the next morning. Nothing like this one. So if they're a little sluggish this week, you'll understand why. And you never get stuck in Honolulu or the Virgin Islands, San Diego. They're never saying, we can't get you out of San Diego. You're going to have to stay here. No, it's Manhattan. And to my friends in Manhattan, I love you. Truly, I do. But everything was closed, so it didn't matter. James, will BYU fan base play a role tonight? They always do. They show up. They usually get good crowds. They're bitter. They're angry about a lot of things. the Beehive State. That's all you need to know. I suspect they'll have a better home court advantage than Utah had. Allen, Texas Tech gets back into the tournament field with a 2-0 week. No, they won't be back in the tournament field until the end of the month. It's going to take the end of January to get there. It will. They're that far off right now, Allen. It's just the reality. And this year, the Big 12 is not giving you huge bumps in teams that you're playing and beating. All right? It's going to take you a while to get back into that solid field number. It's going to take a full month. That's why I say there's got to be urgency. The numbers don't lie. I've watched them for the last 10 years on this stuff. They don't lie. Unless you saw and ignored my X comment, it's not working. I saw it earlier. I saw you on Twitter earlier. So I know at least one person can get in. Joseph on Facebook, too much political correct these days. We used to accuse our rival cheerleaders of grazing on our field. Why, I don't know, whatever that might mean. I wonder if the Domino's was closed in Manhattan. Man, everything was closed, pretty much. It was brutal. Allen, BYU, great crowds. They're hopped up on milky soda and fry sauce. You don't know. Crazy. 18,000 a night, 17,000 more than the Utes could muster. I don't know that it'll be that big at the Marriott Center, not Marriott, but Marriott. A few more minutes left tonight. Plural on purpose. All right. So cold weather food. What are you guys having tonight? If you are in the path of the storm, particularly in the Metroplex, what are we going to do when we wake up this weekend in the Cotton Bowl and there's like 15 inches of snow or something? If that happens, and those of you that are there, Alan is our reporter on the ground in the Metroplex. It sure sounds like everything was shifting that way from this part of the world. Looks like Lubbock is going to be spared the brunt of it at this point. We shall see. It's not going to be anything like a couple of years ago when I think a lot of people lost power, but still. So we have that. We may talk more tomorrow. I think a lot of people hadn't seen the CNBC story on Tech being the most valuable program in the Big 12. And I really do want to get your thoughts on, one, everybody's got their own metrics. But two, throw all that aside, and I just want to reiterate, Tech's not a poor school in the Big 12. The days of Tech fans, flying the Hoover flag with their pockets out, they got to change that attitude. There's no reason you can't compete. No reason you can't compete economically in the Big 12 over the next 5 years. And that's as long as it's going to last. In 5 years, the Big 12 is not going to matter. It's got to be the NIL money. No. It's everything. It is facilities. It is revenue generated. It is the total athletic department revenue, what you do, ticket sales, all of those things. It's not just Cody Campbell and Dustin Womble. That's a part of it, but that's not all of it by any stretch of the imagination. That you are already doing fine compared to the other Big 12 teams, even before the spending spree this offseason where they realized that there was a 1-year gap that they could do this the way they're doing it. Now it can continue after this year. The NIL spending doesn't go away. NIL doesn't stop. The salary cap is only on the school side. And Kirby Hocutt made some great comments about that to the Avalanche Journal. It was picked up by Yahoo Sports Today in a column that, you can still do NIL contracts for baseball and women's basketball and everything else. X comments, I do think you get one or two, it shuts it off. All right, that's really weird. I don't like that. We're going to try to figure it out. Why do you have so many listeners on X? I hope they get the help they need. I don't know what that means. What are you trying to tell us? you know. Chris, that frustrates me that you don't have more conference championships to show for having all that money. Well, it's recent. It's new money that within the old Big 12, you were shoved down. How far back do we want to go, right? The original Big 12, you were mid-pack at best. Then a couple of power teams left, like in Nebraska, like in A&M. Then a few more power teams left, like in Oklahoma and Texas. And now here you are as it sifts out, as it winnows out over the last year. And as everything settles in, now you go, hey, look around. Guess who's on top? You hadn't been that way for the last 10 years, 20 years. It's a recent arrival. Welcome to it. I would submit, Chris, that Texas Tech has actually probably got more bang for their buck, conference championship wise or otherwise, outside of football, than most of the teams that I've just talked about that left. That's what I would submit. Better value. All right, we got to get out of here. Now, what do? It's real simple. You share this with your friends on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. If you're not subscribing to our YouTube channel, subscribe. If you're not following us on Twitter X, subscribe or follow or do whatever it is on that, at Ryan Hyatt Media. We're going to figure out what's going on with the Twitter comments one way or the other. Everything I can tell on my end is hooked up right. By gosh, we're going to get them back in here because we got them. We see them. And that's okay. But again, we give you multiple ways to watch. So if you happen to be watching right now on Twitter or watching a replay on Twitter, subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to Facebook Live, and you can get in that way. Right now, it's Raiderland on Facebook. Easy. Doesn't cost nothing. Nothing ever costs anything. But I want you guys to share the dog out of this. Grow Raiderland. Like our page or our channel on YouTube. Hit thumbs up. It means a lot. Makes my wife feel good for me not going to law school and everything else. And then we're going to be with you in the morning, Wednesday. I mean, we've had so many holidays, I've lost track. It's time for What If Wednesday. We give you a what if scenario, alt history. It's really cool. All right. Thanks to United Supermarkets for making all the communication happen. Gators BYU, hot Cajun food, cold drinks, great patio, all the games on TV. Sideline provisions. Look as good as your favorite team. Sideline provisions here in West Texas. All right. Got to hit this button here. Got to hit this one here. Oh, and thanks, David Collier, for jumping on. Glad to have you back on social media. Sorry about the ban. I don't know what you did, but, glad you got unbanned or whatever it was.